Microsoft has purchased Activision, and there have been a tremendous amount of reactions over the last week. For today, I kind of just thought I would take a look at a lot of the comments and stories that we've seen throughout the week and just sort of recap everything that has happened since the acquisition. Let's get into it right now. Thank you so much for watching my videos, everybody. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when they go live. Thank you so much to all the subscribers who have supported the channel over the last few years, few days, however long you've been subscribed. Thank you. So real quick, I just kind of wanted to talk about the whole Activision Blizzard acquisition. Now, it was nearly $70 billion. Microsoft announced that they would be acquiring Activision Blizzard and welcoming a lot of IPs to the Microsoft family of consoles and devices, etc. That includes controversial characters like Crash Bandicoot, controversial because he was once a Sony mascot and now he is an Xbox-owned character. Spyro being some of the smaller items, but the bigger question items include Call of Duty, Overwatch, Diablo, etc., etc. So this major acquisition happens, and there have been reactions from positive from a lot of Xbox fans who are excited to get all those games added to Game Pass, and negative to a lot of Sony fans who feel like they're losing, probably feel like they're losing a piece of their history to what they may see as the competition. I don't think all Sony fans feel that way. And Xbox hasn't necessarily said they're suddenly going to make everything console exclusive. So how did developers feel about this? Now, you have to remember that Activision has been embroiled in controversy for however long. There's been a lot of terrible cases of sexual harassment and just a huge company culture that needs to be changed. And Raven Software even is striking right now because they feel like they're not being treated appropriately. And Activision is continuing to just say, well, we're not going to really change anything at this point. So how did developers feel about this? Developers actually feel quite positive about the acquisition. They're hopeful that Microsoft is going to come in, make positive changes about their company. There have been talks already from insiders that Call of Duty may move away from an annualized franchise. And what that might mean for the franchise is that we all get a breath of fresh air and just a little bit of break from the rigmarole of Call of Duty every single year on and on for however many years. And there's also been talk about the possibility of freeing up the Call of Duty developers to work on other projects that aren't Call of Duty. Now, imagine you've been at Activision Blizzard, you're dealing with all of these, the underpaid issue at Raven, the sexual harassment issues, et cetera, Bobby Kotick doing some stuff that you can read about that hasn't been great. Including impersonating an employee at one point, I believe is one of the accusations. All of it not great. So all of that happens. Devs seem really excited about positive changes this acquisition could bring when it closes in 2023. Now, everybody needs to remember that this isn't going to happen overnight. This will take about a year to be finalized, and we're not going to know truly what Microsoft plans are until then. Until then, they're going to play really nice and be very vague about their plans. And I'll talk about the quote actually from Phil Spencer in just a second. The one fear that developers have are because of redundancies. There are some fears of layoffs. Kotick said in a meeting that Microsoft is committed to trying to retain as many of our people as possible. But even within that phrasing, he doesn't say, hey, there aren't going to be layoffs, right? There could be layoffs with a merger like this. That often happens in the industry. What else do we have? Jason Schreier said a little bit about the exclusivity of Call of Duty. That has been the big question on everybody's mind. Activision is committed to releasing at least the next 3 Call of Duty games on PlayStation, even after the Xbox acquisition, according to people familiar with the deal. That's COD 2022, COD 2023, and Warzone 2 in 2023. After that, it's hazier. So we know that through 2023, Call of Duty games are going to be cross-platform. Now, I've talked about my opinion on this. I think that Warzone remains multi-platform, but the core Call of Duties eventually do go Xbox exclusive. Time is going to tell on that one, but we don't actually know what is going to happen. That's how I feel about it. Phil Spencer said, basically, let me find the quotes here. Activision Blizzard games are enjoyed on a variety of platforms, and we plan to continue to support those communities moving forward. He also posted this tweet, which, well, it does seem like they are going to continue releasing on multiple platforms. There are some phrases in there that make it seem like maybe it will go to other spots. So via the quotes that I had pulled from my notes earlier, it says, Microsoft plans to keep making some of Activision games for PlayStation consoles, but will also keep some content exclusive to Xbox, said a person familiar with the company's thinking. And then the quote they had in their article was, I'll just say to players out there who are playing Activision games on Sony's platform, it's not our intent to pull communities away from that platform, and we remain committed to that, Spencer said in an interview. Now, the line I believe he said in the tweet, I don't have it in front of me, but he basically said, we hope to be able to continue to release on both platforms or something to that extent. And that has a lot of people just wondering, okay, are you just waiting for the deal to close? Because something similar was said about the Bethesda acquisition, and now we know Elder Scrolls and Starfield and Redfall will all be exclusive to the Xbox family of devices. So people are like, what does this mean? You know, what is going to happen? What else do I have written down here? Okay. About the Sony stock. So Sony stock took a pretty significant dip, right? Investors seem to be calming down a little bit. The stock is slowly going up, but it did take a massive fall. It was like 130 a share, and now it's down to 102 a share, 106, I think, at closing on Friday. So it has gone up a bit, but it still is a pretty steep decline. Morningstar analyst Kazunori Ito told Bloomberg that falling shares illustrate investors are worried that Sony may not be able to keep winning in a sector where earnings potential is shifting away from hardware sales and toward software sales. I do think Sony's stock will recover from the reactionary dip. And honestly, I think Sony is going to be just fine. We already know that their answer to Game Pass is coming. And if we've seen, if the success of Xbox Game Pass is any indication of how well the Sony Game Pass answer is going to be, the Sony Game Pass Spartacus rumors are going to put Sony in great revenue territory. I really don't think that this is going to have the impact on Sony that people are concerned that it will. I think Xbox is going to continue to release on that platform because Microsoft is looking more at companies like Tencent, Facebook, and Apple, and they want them to stay away from gaming. Phil Spencer even said that they believe Sony is an important part of our industry, and I believe that Nintendo also falls under that umbrella. It's about the gaming community continuing to operate when these mega corporations like Google, Facebook, etc. are trying to encroach on that space. And that's more concerning to them as the idea of what gaming is expands, as opposed to, releasing their games on multiple platforms. Time's going to tell with this one. It's not something that I think anybody can predict right now, because Xbox has done this in the past where they say, well, here's how Bethesda is going to work. And then it works a little bit differently than everybody expects. And yeah, so that's sort of where we're at right now. A lot of people wondering what this is going to mean for the future. I honestly think Sony is going to continue to be ahead of Microsoft for at least the next 5 years. Microsoft has a pretty light quarter one. Sony has an amazing quarter one in 2022. I think near the end of the year, Xbox is likely going to have a really strong Q4 again, and time will tell what Sony has. Potentially God of War is their Q4 game. Their Q1 game is Horizon, and then they have a bunch of stuff in the middle. So as opposed to last year where their Q4 was empty, their Q4 could likely be strong, referring to Sony. And Xbox's Q4 is also going to be strong, but their intro quarters are light. I think both of these companies are going to compete a lot more closely. And for me, I always think that drives innovation within both of those brands to be better. Microsoft is paying to address the "we have no exclusives" argument that has been made for so many years. So they got hammered for 7 years about not having exclusives. And they said, we need to address this. Let's buy some companies to address this. And that seems how they have addressed that criticism. So people may not like that has been their methodology, but you hammer a mega corporation like Microsoft for 7 years for not doing something well enough, and they can throw money at the issue. I don't necessarily think that's a problem, especially when they're taking a hands-off approach to a lot of these development companies. They're taking a hands-off approach with Bethesda. Starfield is looking great. Redfall looks actually interesting because apparently it's a looter shooter, so I'm actually more intrigued than I thought I would be about that one. Initially, I had no interest in Redfall, and then all those leaked screenshots, which a lot of people criticize for how a pre-alpha game looks like. I've made that mistake. Just don't even pay attention to how the graphics look, because we'll see how it looks later. I'm interested in the gameplay more than anything at this point, but it's like a vampire shooter, so I don't even know if I'm going to like it. But anyway, time's going to tell how all of this pans out. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Those are the important things. I could talk about the Aaron Greenberg Crash thing, but basically Aaron Greenberg changed his profile picture to be him and Crash. He was happy and celebrating the new edition and taking some fan art, and the internet kind of lost their stuff. You can watch my video about that one if you want. But let me know what you think about Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. I think things are going to be just fine. Sony locking up all the Final Fantasy games. I mean, it's a smart move on their part. I think what Microsoft is doing is a smart investment that is going to pay off in dividends in the future. And I think both of these companies are going to do just fine in the long run. But I want to hear what you think. Let me know what you know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And while I have you, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when these videos go live. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed. If you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. Thank you so much to all of the members who've said, hey, Destin, I want to support your channel. I greatly appreciate you. Hit that join button if you want to become a member. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you tomorrow. I already recorded my video for tomorrow's spoilers. It's about that NFT Ubisoft story. I'll see you then. Bye for now, everybody.